Hi, welcome back to the channel. So you're asking the question, should you have spinal fusion? So you're probably in the position that you've got scoliosis and your surgeon has suggested that you may want to start thinking about whether or not you want spinal fusion. And this is such a big question to probably be asked at the early teens age. And I know this from experience. I had my spinal fusion surgery 9 years ago now, and I was 13 when I got diagnosed. And at the time, I didn't really understand what I was letting myself in for, I guess. I didn't know anybody else with scoliosis or who had spinal fusion, so I just had to take the word of my surgeon that this was the best option for myself. And I still believe that we made the right choice, but I just feel like I went into it very uninformed. So today I just want to talk a bit about the pros and cons of spinal fusion surgery so that you can, just to help you try and make your mind up if this is the best option for you. So obviously I'm not a medical health professional, I'm just talking from my personal experience, and you should always talk to your family and in particular talk to your surgeon and other health professionals that know about this surgery. But yeah, I just want to give you my view, my experience. So an obvious pro from having the surgery is that it corrects your spine. You probably will end up with a fairly straight spine or a very corrected spine, which means that your whole body is more in alignment, you're more symmetrical, so aesthetically it's a really good option, but you probably shouldn't be having the surgery just for aesthetic reasons. The second pro is that your curve won't progress. So if you're anything like me, I found out that I had scoliosis and then I went through a period of monitoring of my spine through x-rays just to see how it progressed over a period of time. So yours will probably be progressing like mine, just continuing to get worse. So once you've had the fusion, your curve either won't be there anymore or it'll be a lot better, and the fusion will stop the progression. However, I will put a disclaimer that I have seen that some people have the fusion in their curved part of the spine, and then above or below a curve might start to progress in some people. I think this is quite small from what I've looked into, but there is still that chance. So that's definitely something to talk to your surgeon about. What vertebrae is he going to be fusing, and how far that will be, like up and down your spine, and then you can get a good idea of whether that might happen to you. Number 3. So this was a really important pro for me. So before the operation, I was quite poorly with problems with my lungs, and I believe that this was caused by the scoliosis, as after the fusion everything's fine in that department. So your curve might have been a lot worse than mine, or not as bad as mine, but your curve may put pressure on your other organs, and it may, once you've had the fusion, you may be a lot healthier in lots of other ways. Number 4. So as I've mentioned, I had my spinal fusion surgery 9 years ago now, and I'm talking about it from my perspective, but I do know people that have had their fusion in the past year or so, and their outlook is so much more positive than mine. They have shorter recovery times, they're able to get back to sport and other activities in a lot less time than I was. And overall, I just feel like the advancement of the surgery is just so unbelievable. so positive, and it's like everything in the health sector, everything moves so fast and they're developing new things all the time. So there is other things like VBT, that's vertical body tethering. Now I'm going to move on to the cons of the spinal fusion. I have made a previous video talking about the negatives of spinal fusion, but the first con of the fusion is pain. So I myself have quite a bit of pain, and before my surgery I was quite young, and the scoliosis hadn't caused me any pain or any that I can remember really, but I am still in pain after the fusion. But I do know people that have got scoliosis, and their scoliosis is causing them a lot of pain. So if you're anything like that, then I believe that the fusion does in most cases reduce that pain. I just was not in that position. Number 2 for the cons is that there is a small chance that there may be complications in the surgery. So this is definitely a good conversation to have with your surgery. What are the complications that can happen during the surgery, and what are the percentages of this happening? It's really important that you go into the surgery knowing all the facts. So I would definitely talk to your surgeon about this. Number 3 is that there may be complications post-surgery. So who knows what this might be. People have lots of different stories about the complications that have happened to them. So a few things is that the spine hasn't fused even though they've had the operation. They've had broken screws, so they've had to have them taken out. Have heard of a few people that have their entire fusion taken out, as it's causing them a lot of pain. And yeah, chronic pain is a big one. You don't know necessarily how the fusion will affect you in the future, but you've just got to go into it knowing all the facts. That's why it's just so important that you talk to your surgeon. Number 4 is the recovery time. So when I had my surgery 9 years ago, they told me that the recovery time would be about a year, and I was not to do any physical activity for that amount of time. I would say that a year was pretty bang on for me, but I do know now that that recovery time is a lot shorter and people are getting back to stuff a lot faster. So take this one as a pro or a con. So another con to fusion may be that there are other options now instead of getting the fusion. So there is bracing, exercise methods, or VBT. I have not tried any of these methods, but you may want to look into these. There might be some others that I've not mentioned, but definitely look into these and work out if fusion is right for you, or if there's other methods that can prevent you having the fusion surgery. Another con to having the fusion is that your curve might actually not progress any further. I know a few people that have scoliosis, but their scoliosis is stable. So their body or themselves have managed to stabilise the scoliosis and it not progress any further, meaning that they do not need the fusion and they're quite happy just living their lives with scoliosis. So I would definitely suggest getting monitoring over a period of time to see if your curve is progressing. If it's not, then your surgeon might suggest that you don't need the fusion. So that would be really good, as obviously many people can just live quite happily without a little bit of a curve in their spine, and that's absolutely fine. So thank you for watching this video, and hopefully these pros and cons of the spinal fusion have just helped you a little bit. So hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos about scoliosis and spinal fusion. If you have scoliosis or spinal fusion and you're on that journey, come along with me, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video.